Is Medical Properties Trust 15.61% dividend yield safe? I'm going to answer that question in this video, looking at the company's critical financial metrics. So you're not going to want to miss out. Stay tuned and let's begin. So Medical Properties Trust dividend yield has exploded not because the company has increased its dividend payment significantly, but because the stock price has fallen significantly. Now remember, the dividend yield equals the dividend payment divided by the stock price. So if the stock price falls, it increases the dividend yield, even though the dividend payment hasn't increased. So that's something to keep in mind. So why has Medical Properties Trust dividend market price fallen? Well, it's facing significant troubles with a few of its tenants not being able to pay rent. So whenever the market sniffs out this kind of difficulty from tenants of a realty invest a REIT, real estate investment trust, the stock price tends to fall because that tends to lead to troubles for the company. So looking at Medical Property Trust payout ratio, this measures the company's dividend payment divided by the total earnings per share for the company. In other words, it measures how much of the company's earnings it's paying out in dividends. It measures the sustainability of the dividend. A higher number means it's less likely sustainable. And looking at Medical Property Trust payout ratio of 77.39%, it's on the higher end of the ratio. Remember, 100% would mean that the company is paying all of its earnings in dividends. Now, if you think about your own household, this is like if you're spending all of the money you earn, that would mean you would have a payout ratio of 100%. That's like how a company is. So that's not really sustainable. You got to keep some of that money for reinvestment in the company and some money for a rainy day. And so you can't really sustain a dividend payout ratio at or above 100%. So 77% is on the higher end, and it's especially viewed as being on the higher end because the company's earnings per share prospects have been lowered going forward because of the troubles that it's having with its tenants. Its earnings per share are expected to decline, not increase. So that's something to keep an eye out for as well. So I wanted to look at revenue growth for the longer term for this company, and it looks like it's on a downward trend here, which is not a good sign. Medical Properties Trust revenue growth has gone from, let's say, 20% in 2014 annually, and it's trended downward, and now in its most recent year it was negative 0.12%. So a growth rate of 0.12% means that it's going to get less revenue. It got less revenue than the year before, and then the trend downward seems like it's going to keep going downward, and that is not going to recover or reaccelerate. So that's not good news either, looking at Medical Property Trust's dividend sustainability. And finally, of course, when you're looking at a real estate investment trust, a REIT, one of the more important metrics you want to look at is the funds from operations. And I'm looking at this over the trailing 12-month period, and the long run trend looks extremely healthy. Look at that very nice upward trend in terms of funds from operations. However, this recent downturn looks pretty significant, going from over 1.5 billion, let's say it's at 1.6 billion, down to 1.3 billion looks troubling. And the company had a similar downward trend in 2019, let's say, when it fell from over 1 billion down to less than 500 million. So this is troubling, especially when you couple this with the fact that it's having tenant troubles, and it has already written down some of its properties in the investment trust and more troubles ahead. I'm Unfortunately, to answer the question posed in the headline, is Medical Properties Trust 15 dividend yield safe. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. I'm going to answer no, it's not safe. I think the likelihood of a decrease in the company's dividend payment has increased, and the probability of that is pretty high. So the probability that Medical Properties Trust will need to decrease its dividend payment is pretty high. So if you're counting on this dividend payment right now for something important to fund retirement or to fund some other obligation, I wouldn't count on it completely. Now, it may work out that it doesn't need to cut its dividend. It's just that the probability is really high. The probability has increased. All right, so that's all I've got for this video. As always, I truly appreciate your viewership. Now, I've selected a few videos that I think you'll enjoy based on you watching this video. So please click on one of those and I'll see you over there.